Yeah, good morning, pipe smokers. Paul the Pipe Guy here. Hmm. Saturday morning. I pulled out this dusty mason jar from my tobacco cellar, and it says Lane 1Q, January of 2021. I was like, man, I haven't smoked that stuff in a million years. And it's basically Sweet Virginias and Black Cavendish. Very delightful, smooth morning smoke. Supposedly, according to what I read on it, the room note is something that everybody likes. I was smoking it out of my Viking morning pipe. They had these on Pipes and Cigars. Viking, it's the Viking morning pipe. No bowl number, nothing. Feels good in my hand. Yeah. Well-made pipe. You know, the walls on that bowl are thick. So unless you really, really smoke this like a freight train, shouldn't overheat too bad. So we got 42 degrees outside and rainy and cloudy. I'll take that over snow any day. Monday or Tuesday is supposed to get up to 68 degrees. But we're still in March, so you never know. This is just this Northwest track. I'm sorry, that was last night's bowl. This Lane 1Q is really good. I like it. Nice and smooth. The Northwest track, I did look what was in that, and I believe it was Virginia's, some Latakia, Black Cavendish. I can't remember what else, but it had a maple vanilla topping. And Greg the Tunnel Take, he's been, raving over this, what is it, the walnut, some walnut tobacco or whatever, some walnut maple, walnut maple tobacco. So I ordered a tin of it last night. That's like $15 for 1.5 ounces. But if my buddy Greggy likes it, I gotta try it. And it's in the budget. Yeah, thank God my truck is fixed. Contacted the guy's son that owns the little used car dealership. And I said, well, I want either a Chevy Silverado 4-wheel drive pickup, extended cab, doesn't have to have 4 doors on it, but you know, the extended cab where you can seat 6 people. Or I've always wanted a Jeep. One where the top comes off for the summertime. Yeah, this is holding up good. Not overheating. Whoa. Oh, yeah. What to do with the day? Sometimes I just do nothing. Yeah. That Lane 1Q still is, it's smoking good. I still can't find my 1 pound of Haunted Bookshop though. I've got a pound of Haunted Bookshop I bought maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I can't for the life of me find it. Maybe that's why they call it Haunted Bookshop. I'd love to find it because last time I saw it, it was in my Lane cedar chest. No clue where it went. That was one of Match's 860, one of his favorite blends, I believe, if memory serves me right. Yeah, so tonight's movie night. It's where my landlord comes over and we have a couple of beers and watch a couple of movies. Now he's a cigarette smoker. I was like, man, you ought to try a pipe or a cigar. He's like, nah. I lit up a cigar. I says, what do you think of the smell of that? He's like, it smells horrible. Man, I must have packed a real good bowl of this stuff. It just keeps burning and burning and burning. But then again, I'm not woofing it down like a freight train. I think it'd be cool to have, you know, a Jeep 4-wheel drive with the hard top, and then they sometimes you come with a hard top and a soft top. That'd be nice to ride around in the summertime with that top down. I don't care what kind of car you got. If it's a convertible, it's fun. I remember, oh geez, this is going back 30 years ago. Dodge made a car, and I was working at a Dodge dealership. They had a Dodge Shadow, which was just a little Dodge car, but this one was blue with a white top, and it was a convertible. Man, that car wasn't anything to look at or nothing like that, nothing special, but man, with that top down, riding around out in the sunshine, felt great. A lot safer than a motorcycle. I've owned a few motorcycles, and I probably won't buy another one. Too many people on the road that are dangerous. Not to mention, in upstate New York here, we've got just millions of deer. So you could be riding down the road, all of a sudden a deer jumps out in front of you, and you could be killed. You know? Last motorcycle I had, I was working 55 hours a week on a full-time job and running my concrete business with my dad and my sons about 50 hours a week, plus in the fire department. So I was only putting about 100 miles a year on this Yamaha V-Star 1100 that I had. That was a great motorcycle. I looked at my wife one day and I said, you know, I'm only putting about 100 miles a year on that for the past 2-3 years. I think I'm going to sell it. So instead of putting an ad up, and they didn't have Facebook Marketplace then, but you go to advertise a motorcycle, you're going to get a million idiots that don't have the money. They're all going to want to ride it. I didn't want to go through that. I could have listed it for $5,000, and somebody's probably going to beat me up down to $4,500. So I just called up where I bought it, and guy says, you know, I bought it brand new. I was friends with the owner of the motorcycle dealership, and he says, I'll scratch you a check right now for $4,000. I was like, man, I'm not going to go through $500 worth of aggravation, have a million idiots look at it, want to ride it. Like, I'll be right down, get your checkbook ready. That's what we did. You know, there was a time when my father and I used to ride our motorcycles around, and on Sundays in the summertime, a lot of times we'd take my kids over to the school, and of course, you know, they got at this particular school, they had you know, all kinds of back roads and stuff like that. They were paved, but you know, it was like two schools connected together, so you know, you could go a half a mile around these roads, and we'd throw the kids on the back. He had a motorcycle and I had mine, and we'd give them rides, and then we'd have a picnic there at this school, and they had a playground. That's when my kids were little. And they enjoyed it. So I've had boats, four-wheelers, snowmobiles, pretty much all done with the toys. Yeah, when the time comes, and I get myself a small log cabin, maybe 600, 700, 800 square feet. Nice wood burning stove. All open area. Little ladder going up to a loft. That's what I want for my retirement. Pretty simple request. Not interested in traveling the world. Not interested in having some big, huge mansion. Not that I could afford it, anyways. I like the simple stuff. I mean, all through my childhood, since I was about 7, 8 years old, we're even younger than that, 5, 6 years old. We're always just tromping through the woods. Our parents used to let us stay out in the woods overnight, and we'd build a campfire, and sometimes we'd have a tent, sometimes we wouldn't. Yeah. I'll tell you though, like I remember going to Boy Scout camp every year, and we'd go on 10, 15, 20-mile hikes, during the day. You can easily hike 20 miles during the day. I mean, if you're walking 3 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, you can take a 4, 5, 6 hour hike. And I'll tell you, when you're sleeping out in the woods, man, it just feels so healthy and so good. Reason is one of the reasons is when we breathe in oxygen from our atmosphere, we breathe out carbon dioxide, which plants and trees love that, just like we like oxygen, and in return they give off oxygen into the atmosphere. Cat, what are you doing, cat? So you'd sleep real good. You'd eat, and I'll tell you, the food especially, you're out on the trail, and we were like way out in the Adirondack Mountains where shit, you could hike for days and wouldn't run into anybody. No sign of humanity, just us. And packed all of our own food and stuff and cooked it over a fire. That food was good. Then we'd sit down after cleanup and stuff, have a campfire every night. Scoutmaster, he was a good storyteller. Yeah, and by around 11 o'clock, I think every night pretty much we were in the sack. We're sleeping. I remember that to be pretty much about it. And then, you're up at 7, so you got a good 8 hours sleep. And you wake up hungry. Yeah. Pancakes and bacon and eggs. Man. Cook all that stuff out there on the trail. Everybody had their personal little mess kit, which basically was like 2 bowls or plates that would go together, held together by a screw, some sort of bracket combination. Then you had your knife, fork, and spoon kit, a little cup that went in there, a little like a little pan, or not a pan, but like I don't know, a little pot that was in there. You know, you could hang it up by a string and cook shit in it over a campfire. Well, those were the days. I tried to share that with all my kids and stuff too, which I did. When they were younger, we'd have a campfire and we'd cook stuff out. A couple of my sons and I, we'd have what we called survival weekend. Basically, we stayed in the woods behind the house overnight and all day, and then overnight, and then into part of the next day till they got tired of it. Well, rambled on here for 21 minutes. Happy Saturday, pipe smokers. Paul the Pipe Guy. I'm gonna stretch. I think I'm gonna make myself some bacon and eggs. Over and out.